the nation's capital, the 1961 baseball season opens with a new president, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, throwing out the first ball. And there's a new Washington Senators club also making its major league debut. The former Senators moved out to Minneapolis in the American League's expansion program to become the Twins. President Kennedy and his party launched not only a new season, but a new club. It's a new era in Washington baseball, but the presence of a new chief executive can't break a long-time tradition. The new baseball Senators meet the fate that almost traditionally befell the old club, going down to defeat 4-3. The Braves meet the Giants in Milwaukee, and baseball history is being made by Willie Mays, who faces Lou Burdett in the first inning and promptly smashes his first home run of the day. Only 8 men, including the great Lou Gehrig, have hit 4 home runs in one game. Today, Willie is joining that select circle. The say-hey boy was hitless in this series against the Braves until today, but he bounces back with a vengeance. His round tripper in the fourth is a 400-foot belt. The fences are bending today, for other players are on home run sprees too. Before the game's over, there'll be 10 circuit props, including the incomparable Willie's third blast in the 6th. Ball hit with everything behind it. The Milwaukee crowd is all for Willie now as he steps in the 8th and proceeds to poke his record-tying homer into the stands. Until today, Willie thought he was in a batting slump. Well, he found the cure by scattering baseballs into the bleachers. It was Mays Day in Milwaukee as Willie found his page in the record book. Will he or won't he question is answered by the bat of Roger Maris at New York. With 59 home runs and needing one more to equal Babe Ruth's record, he faces Jack Fisher of the Orioles. He gets a pitch he likes, and away it goes. Roger now will go into the record book, but with a footnote that Babe Ruth made his 1927 record within a 154-game season. It took Maris 159 games of the expanded schedule to do the same. What's Roger's reaction? This. He says this is his greatest homer of them all. Later, joy reigns in the dressing room of the American League champs as Roger meets Mrs. Babe Ruth. A kiss from the man who almost dethroned her King of Swat. The crowd in Yankee Stadium for the final game of the year is here to cheer not the Yankees, but Roger Maris, who comes through with his 61st homer for a new baseball record. It's a qualified record, however. Babe Ruth set his 1927 record of 60 homers in a shorter season of 154 games. And it took Roger 4 more games to hit 60 and 162 games to hit 61. The baseball commissioner has ruled that Ruth's record stands until someone hits 61 in the same number of games. That ruling does nothing to dull the roar of the crowd today. They won't let Roger alone until he comes out of the dugout and takes a bow. The newest Sultan of Swat, Roger has set a record that will probably stand for many years. More than 63,000 jam Yankee Stadium for the series and see an old series hand, Joe DiMaggio, throw out the first ball. It's the Yankees taking on the Cincinnati Reds, and the Yanks' Elston Howard unleashes some of the famed Yankee power as he lashes one into the right field stands. This is the homer habit that Yankee rivals dread, for they chalked up 240 homers during the regular season. Crowd witnesses another crusher for the Reds. Escaurin faces O'Toole, who feeds him a ball that takes wings to the left field bleachers. The 2 home runs are the sum total of the scoring for today. But remember, there's always tomorrow. There's not much scoring, but the crowd is treated to Whitey Ford's pitching and Clete Boyer's brilliant fielding. From his knees, he throws his man out. Ford sails along to a two-hitter that is one of his best pitch games. This is his 8th World Series win, setting a new record. He gave up fewer hits than he ever has in 15 World Series games. Next day, the Reds sing a new song. This time it's Ralph Terry pitching for the Yankees, and it's Gordy Coleman's bat that rings out with the first sounds of a Red victory as he homers into the right field bleachers. With Frank Robinson on base, that puts Cincinnati ahead 2-0. The Yankees come right back in their half of the fourth as Joey J pitches a juicy one to Berra with Maris on base. Mr. Berra wastes no time in sending it all the way. Special delivery, and the game is tied up 2-2. This homer gives Berra 5 series records, including the most hits. This makes 70. That's all for you Yankee fans as the Reds take over. A pass ball and Chacon scores. This puts Cincinnati in the lead, and they're never headed. The Yankees have their last chance in the ninth, but pinch hitter Billy Gardner flies out to Casco, and the Reds win 6-2. Cincinnati fans were optimistic as the Reds met the Yankees and pitcher Whitey Ford in the 4th game of the World Series. But Whitey and the Bronx Bombers unlimber superb pitching and murderous bats before the sun sinks on a sad Ohio City. Ford pitches flawless ball before he is injured in the 6th, chalking up 32 scoreless World Series innings and casting Babe Ruth's 43-year-old record into the discard. The Yankees take the 4th game 7-0. Next day, the sky fell in on the Reds. Joey J, who pitched the Reds to victory in the 2nd game, is on the mound when the floodgates open. With a man on, second stringer John Blanchard's homer starts the Yankees on their scoring spree. Jay is replaced by Jim Maloney after another run scores, and Hector Lopez promptly sails a triple to the right field corner, and before the 1st inning is over, the Yankees have 5 runs chalked up. Hometown fans see a ray of hope in the 3rd when Frank Robinson, with 2 on, smashes one into the bleachers. This makes it 6-3 and puts the Reds back into the running. But it takes more than optimism to win ball games. The crowd finds out that the Yankees aren't fooling in the very next inning when Lopez adds a homer to his triple, and the Yankees wind up the frame with 5 more runs. In rocking 8 Red pitchers for 15 hits, they rechristen Cincinnati Beltsville on the Ohio. And Vada Pinson flies out for the Reds last out. The Yanks win their 19th World Series. The jubilant New Yorkers were steered to their crown by Ralph Houk in his first year as manager. The Yankees won with their top stars out of action or ineffective. That's fodder for the Hot Stove League.
Blue blades with the sharpest edges ever honed. Gillette's cavalcade of sports is on the air.
The doors of baseball's Hall of Fame have swung open to admit 2 more baseball immortals, Bob Feller and Jackie Robinson. Pitcher Feller is a one-time Iowa farm boy who became the greatest pitcher of his day. He piled up 266 victories against 162 defeats in 18 seasons. He spent his entire major league career with the Cleveland Indians. Robinson is the first of his race to be honored with admission to the shrine of the national game. His sure fielding helped carry Brooklyn to 6 World Series with the Yankees. A murderous hitter, Jackie won the National League batting crown in 1949. In his prime, he was the game's most feared base runner. In the World Series opener of 1955, he stole home against Yogi Berra and Whitey Ford. spring is here? Well, baseball is anyway, as the Yankees train at Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The world champs will again rely on pitcher Whitey Ford and reliever Louis Arroyo, joined this year by Robin Roberts trying for a comeback as two rookies, Lintz and Tresh, try for shortstop. That big gun Mickey Mantle is hoping for another big season, as record buster Roger Maris is. Maris and Mantle, they'll trigger the Yankees' big guns. Speaking of guns, the Colts expect their 45s to speak for them in their first year in the National League 10-team circuit. Coach Harry Kraft and manager Paul Richards are optimistic about their infant club as they keep a weather eye on pitcher Jim Umbricht, who has as a mound mate little Bobby Shantz. Dick Farrell is another pitching hopeful, and the Colts are also relying on men like Jim McDaniel up from Denver, who's also sharp in the field. The Colts may not wind up in first division, but they'll be hard to tame. It's 4 years since the Giants reached San Francisco from New York, and despite players like Kuhn, Mays, and the Alou brothers, they still haven't reached pennant heaven. This year, with pitchers like Pierce, LeMay, McCormick, and Giant newcomer Don Larson, they hope to grab that precious bunting. Larson, remember, pitched that perfect World Series game for the Yankees. Harvey Kuhn hopes for a batting comeback, while the incomparable Willie Mays has no worries. The new Mets are bringing National League Baseball back to New York with an added attraction. Old Professor Casey Stengel himself to talk things up. He admits his pitching is weak, but he has men like Roger Craig, ex-Dodger, and a former Cincinnati player, Jay Hook, to build upon. Felix Mantilla and Charlie Neal are a double-play combination, with another ex-Dodger, Gil Hodges. The Mets are showing some preseason pep that should raise the expectations of New York fans. Anyway, they have Casey. Washington's new $24 million stadium is jammed to capacity for the All-Star game between the National and American leagues. Included in this mob of nearly 46,000 people is the nation's #1 fan who throws out the first ball. The crowd sees superb yet scoreless baseball until the 6th, when Stan Musial pinch hits a single for the Nationals. This is Stan the Man's 22nd All-Star appearance. The old pro still has plenty on the ball and bat. Maury Wills of the Dodgers goes in to run for Musial. And look at that man run as he steals second. Dick Groat of the Pirates comes through with a single, and the fleet-footed Wills comes home from second to score the first run of the game. I wonder who he's rooting for. Groat moved to third on a fly ball, and then scores on an infield tap that puts the Nationals ahead, 2-0. And the American League fans have their moments in the same 6th inning as Rich Rollins drops a hit over first base. Billy Moran of the Los Angeles Angels follows a long single to left center that sends Rollins to third base. 2 on, with Roger Maris coming to bat. Maris smashes one toward the 400-foot mark and runs right into a case of highway robbery. Willie Mays snares it as he crashes into the fence. Rollins scores the lone American League run after the catch. Maury Wills again puts the hex sign on the American Leaguers in the 8th. On Jim Davenport's hit, Wills razzle-dazzle draws the throw to second, but he scoots safely into third. No beefs can change the call of safe. Scarcely had the crowd recovered when they see Wills take off again as Felipe Alou fouls out to right. Maury's jet-propelled burst brings in another national run. That makes it 3-1 for the National League. The president stays until the bitter end, and it is a bitter end for the American League, but a grand finale for Willie Mays as he pulls down Louis Aparicio's long ball for the final out. It was a National League victory 3-1 as both leagues played the kind of baseball you read about. Don't let the uniforms fool you. You're looking at 5 movie stars. For Roger Maris, Mickey Mantle, and Yogi Berra, who also play baseball for the Yankees, had acting chores with Doris Day and Cary Grant in That Touch of Mink. They haven't let the success of the picture interfere with their baseball stardom, for the Yankees lead the league, just as That Touch of Mink is leading the box office parade. You might say it's scoring a home run in the theater league. After eliminating the Dodgers in a hair-raising playoff, the Giants take on the Yankees for the World Championship. With 2 aboard, Yankee Roger Maris hits a long double that brings 2 runs across. The vaunted New York power casts a cloud of gloom over San Francisco's Candlestick Park, but the scrappy Giants are in there fighting. In the second inning, Willie Mays scores on a bunt by Jose Pagan, and the Giants end pitcher Whitey Ford's record of scoreless World Series innings at 33 2/3. It's 2-2 in the 7th when Yankee Clete Boyer lifts a home run over the left field fence, and the New Yorkers go on to win the opening game 6-2. The Giants come back to win next day, and everybody moves to New York all tied up. On the home grounds, the Yankees win the 3rd game, and they start the 4th with Ford pitching a home run ball to Tom Haller in the 2nd inning. He scores Philippe Alou ahead of him, and the Giants go in front 2-0 and stay ahead the rest of the way. The New York crowd has a surprising number of Giant fans who root Matty Alou into second for a pinch hit double. Then an intentional pass fills the bases, paving the way to a big 7th inning. Chuck Hiller comes to bat and pastes a grand slam homer into the right field bleachers. These 4 runs put the Giants ahead 6-2, and they score another in the 9th to humble the Yankees 7-3. This evens the games 2-all. So far, the Yankees aren't the giant killers they set out to be. $44,000 fans in Candlestick Park for the 7th and final World Series game see the first scoring action in the 5th inning as Yankee Bill Skowron singles. This is a nip-and-tuck ball game, a game that decides the title. With Skowron on first, Clete Boyer singles sharply to left center. The ball is long enough to send Skowron to third as the throw comes into second. Fans see Yankee pitcher Ralph Terry walk and Jack Sanford pitch to Kubik. Skowron scores on the double play ball, and that lone run is destined to be the biggest the Yankees scored all season. In the 7th, the Giants' Willie Mays hits a soaring ball to deep left center, and Tom Tresh makes a spectacular catch. It's a save that keeps the Yankees in front, for Willie McCovey next up smashes a powerhouse into the teeth of the gale that blew all day, and it falls over Mickey Mantle's head for a spectacular triple. Giant fans keep their fingers crossed, but Terry comes through to strike out Orlando Cepeda and end the threat. The Giants go down fighting in the 9th as pinch hitter Matty Alou bunts his way on base. Then 2 men strike out, bringing to bat the mighty Willie Mays, San Francisco's last hope. Here is all of the drama and excitement as Terry pitches and Mays smashes a double down the right field line. Only swift work by Roger Maris prevents Alou from crossing with the tying run, but the Giants are still breathing. McCovey comes up and lines one to Bobby Richardson, who freezes to the ball, and the Yankees remain the world champions. The New Yorkers swarm over pitcher Ralph Terry in jubilation as they prepare to celebrate their 20th World Series victory, a record far ahead of any other team in history. game between the American and National Leagues at Cleveland. It proves to be Mays Day in July. After Ken McBride walked Mays, Wondrous Willie promptly steals second base to get into scoring position for the first run of the game. Dick Grote singles off McBride, and the ball barely touches the ground before Willie is off for home. The American League ties it up, but Mays and the Nationals come right back in the third as Willie singles to score Hank Aaron. As Willie goes down to first base, he's got larceny in his heart again, as the crowd soon sees. Mays is off for second so fast the catcher Earl Batty doesn't bother to throw. When Ed Bailey comes up with a one-bagger, Mr. Mays is around for another run. For the day, he has 2 stolen bases, 2 runs batted in, and 2 runs scored. The American League bounces right back in the same inning. A single by Frank Malzone drives in Albie Pearson. Then another single by Earl Batty, and Malzone's run ties it up 3-3. That's the way it remains until the 5th. The only error of the game comes as Bill White slaps one to Malzone at third. His toss to Bobby Richardson at second is bad, and Tommy Davis goes to third on the throw. It's that man again, Willie Mays, grounds out to first, but he pushes Davis across, and the National League stays out in front the rest of the day. The crowd licks the icing from the cake as Don Drysdale pitches to Joe Pepitone. Joe laces one deep into center field. Who's out there? You guessed it, and our Willie makes a spectacular catch. He barks his shin, but he laughs it off. Bobby Richardson ends any American League threat in the 9th when he lines into a double play. The Nats take it 5-3 with a little help from Wondrous Willie Mays. Stan Musial, one of baseball's immortals, is retiring after a fabulous career that spanned 22 years. Stan the Man has a unique corkscrew batting stance, a style that enabled him to chalk up an incredible lifetime batting average of .332. In the field, he is fleet-footed and eagle-eyed. He gives every play all he's got. Circus catches are routine to Stan. St. Louis Cardinal picnic, his fellow players are taken by surprise at the announcement. He spent all of his 22 years in big league baseball with the Cards and will now take a front office job. Also moved to tears is Mrs. Musial. The Lil, who cheered his successes, shared his disappointments. When this season closes, baseball fans will no longer thrill to scenes like these. This is but one of 472 home runs Stan hit during his career. The last innings for a man who brought greatness to our national sport. When the cheers fade away, there will always remain fond memories of Stan Musial. Stan, the man. The Yankee Stadium in New York City's borough of the Bronx is losing a famous neighbor. The Polo Grounds, playing field of hallowed memory, is about to give way to a housing development. Thus will end one of the most famous chapters in baseball history. The Polo Grounds was the longtime home of the New York Giants, and for the last 2 years, the stamping ground of the Mets. Today, the cry, "Play ball!" rings through the stands for the last time. Only 1,752 fans are on hand to see the Phillies whip the Mets 5-1, and it's a quiet wait. The Mets have a firm grip on last place, 45 games back of the Los Angeles Dodgers. That doesn't discourage the old master, Casey Stengel. His number 37 is prominent at the pitcher's mound at each crucial moment. Stengel's Mets may have lost on the base paths, but they won the battle of the box office. This year, they drew 1,080,000 fans at home, and as a double play ends the final game in the 9th, the Mets can find comfort in this fact. In 1963, they drew 150,000 more fans through the turnstiles than they did last year, their first season. Now, except for an occasional football game this fall, crowds will no longer pour into the Polo Grounds. The home of McGraw, Terry Matherson, is no more. With his wife Edna, Casey says farewell. It seems that the only thing in baseball that goes on forever is old Mars Casey himself. opening game of the World Series as the New York Yankees meet the Los Angeles Dodgers. There's a breeze blowing out to left field, and it's whipped up by Yankee bats as the vaunted sluggers go down before the sublime pitching of Sandy Koufax. The Dodgers lefty is heading for a series record of 15 strikeouts. The Yankee power is still, but Dodger bats boom. Frank Howard starts things off with a dandy double that bounces off the wall in center field. Dodgers are off and running. Moose Gowron writes a tale of poetic justice with his bat. A single, and he drives in the first run against his former teammates. The Yankees rue the day they traded him. When John Roseborough comes to bat with 2 men on, he completes the rout of the Yankees with a towering home run to right field. It's early in the game, but with a 4-run lead, Koufax, the Yankee tamer, will be riding high. After gaining this lead, he mows the Yankees down with little trouble until the 5th inning. Three quick hits by the Yankees load the bases, but Koufax gets Hector Lopez swinging to end the threat. The Yankees wrench a shutout from Koufax in the 8th. As Tom Tresh reaches him for a home run with 1 man aboard. It was the one and only Yankee threat to materialize. Even Yankee fans are rooting for Koufax to break the strikeout record, and he does it by fanning the last man, pinch hitter Harry Bright. Koufax was the man with the golden arm. The next day, it was almost a replay. Superb Dodger pitching and hitting. With speedy Maury Wills on base in the 1st inning, pitcher Al Downing tries to pick him off, and Wills is on second in a flash, safe on a wide throw. With Wills on second, Junior Gilliam gets on, and when a double is whipped through to right field by Willie Davis, the Dodgers climb right out in front, 2-0. Just like on opening day, they are never headed in this second game. Again in this game, Moose Gowron rubs it into his former teammates, this time with an avenging home run. So the Dodgers head west to take on the Yankees on their own home grounds, leading 2-0. The millions who will visit the New York World's Fair in the next 2 years will also gaze on a glamorous new sports center, Shea Stadium. The spanking new park is dedicated by Mayor Robert Wagner and manager Casey Stengel of the New York Mets, who have found a new home. The world champions, the Yankee Slayers, the Wonder Boys are tuning up for another run for the pennant. The Los Angeles Dodgers are getting the kinks out of their arms in Florida, including the million-dollar wings of their pitchers like Johnny Podres. Don Drysdale shackled the Yankees in the 3rd game of the World Series after Ron Peronowski helped do the same in the 2nd. The greatest of them all last season was Sandy Koufax, strikeout king. Manager Walt Alston has high hopes for old-timers like 3rd baseman Junior Gilliam. Wally Moon is back again in the outfield. Catcher John Roseborough hopes to improve his .236 average, while Ron Fairly did fairly well at .271. Willie Davis had a good year and a good World Series, but no one topped Tommy Davis, National League batting champ. Will they raise that banner again? The skies are smiling on a crowd of 50,000 at New York Shea Stadium as the cream of the big leaguers meet in the 35th All-Star Game. Going into the 4th inning, the American League is leading 1-0. But this mighty 370-foot blast by Billy Williams of the Cubs makes it a new ball game, 1-1. In the history of All-Star Games, the American League has won 17, the Nationals 16. One has been a tie. Then Ken Boyer of the Cardinals puts the Nationals in front with another 4th inning homer. This makes it 2-1. And the National League is on the way to tying up this series that began in 1933. Dick Grote comes through in the next inning with a double that gets by Harmon Killebrew of the Twins, and that sends another national run across as Roberto Clemente of the Pirates makes it 3-1. Chris Short is pitching for the Nats in the sixth, and he feeds a juicy one to Brooks Robinson that sails past Willie Mays and scores Mickey Mantle and Killebrew. Robinson winds up with a triple, and the old ball game is tied up once more, 3-3. The deadlock is broken the very next inning as Jim Fregosi sacrifices. A long fly to Willie Mays that sends Elston Howard scampering home, 4-3, American League. The ninth inning provides a thriller for the crowd. Coming up to bat is Willie Mays, who has been held hitless all day. Everyone is on edge, including Casey Stengel, who is coaching at first, as Willie draws a base on balls. He represents the tying run. There are cries of "Go, Willie, go," and go he does, winding up at second with a stolen base. Orlando Cepeda is at bat, and he comes through with his first all-star hit in 20 tries as a blooper drops in. Mays holds, then runs. When the throw-in bounces over the catcher's head, Willie is off for home, and he ties up the game in a cloud of dust. The crowd has been dished up a cliffhanger, and they love it. There are 2 out and 2 men on base as pitcher Dick Raditz, the Boston Monster, faces Johnny Callison. It's a storybook finish. Callison sends the first pitch soaring into the stands for a 3-run homer. It's all over but the frenzy at home plate as his National League teammates pour out of the dugout to form a welcoming committee for Johnny Callison, the hero of the hour. The scorecards show a 7-4 victory and a million thrills. After winning out in the National League race by a nose, the St. Louis Cardinals take on the Yankees in the World Series. It's Meet Me in St. Louis, Louis, as a capacity crowd in Busch Stadium see Yankee pitcher Whitey Ford left go against Ray Sadecki. The Cardinals score 1 run in the first, but the Yankees come back with 3 in the second, sparked by Tom Tresh, who lifts a towering home run to center field. It's in the stands, and he's home free, scoring Elston Howard ahead of him. The Yankees are the betting favorites, but the hometown crowd will never say die. Even when Yankee pitcher Whitey Ford singles home the 3rd run of the inning. That makes it 3-1 Yankees. The Cards have their big inning in the 6th. Mike Shannon gets things rolling with a home run that has the scoreboard reading 4-4 as he sends Ken Boyer home ahead of him. Ironically, Shannon spent a part of this season in the minors because of his weak hitting. Come home, Mike. Always forgiven in St. Louis. After Tim McCarver doubles, sending pitcher Ford to the showers, Pa Warwick singles, and that sends McCarver home with the run that puts the Cards ahead to stay. Al Downing now pitching for the Yanks. Feeds a juicy one to Curt Flood, and he hits a slam-bang triple that scores the Cards' 4th run of the inning. Julian Javier, running for Warwick, scampers home. In the 8th, the Cards sew it up when Flood singles, sending another run across as Shannon scores. The Redbirds are right in the catbird seat now as Lou Brock comes to bat with men on first and second. Brock ties the final knot that hog-ties the Yankees as he doubles to send pinch runner Buchek and Curt Flood across for the final runs of the game. The St. Louis crowd has visions of 4 straight as Yankee Joe Pepitone flies out for the final out. However, the Yankees come back the next day to serve notice that New York is still in the World Series. Whichever way the baseball bounces, this fall's classic is a thriller. The Yankee-Cardinal World Series moves to New York with the games even 1-1. In the 3rd game, Mickey Mantle comes to the plate in the 9th inning and the game tied at 1-1. Mickey writes a finish to the tussle with his mighty bat as he lifts the first pitch into the 3rd tier of seats. The Yanks take the 3rd game and lead the series 2-1. It was a heartbreaker for card pitcher Barney Schultz. He came in for Curt Simmons, pitched 1 ball, and is charged with the loss. In the 4th game at Yankee Stadium, the mighty Bombers grabbed 3 runs in the 1st, and the Cards are scoreless until the 6th, when Ken Boyer blasts one into the stands with the bases loaded. This grand slam puts the Cards in the lead 4-3, and they stay on top to the final out. As Boyo Boyer trots around third, he passes brother Cleet Boyer with a grin. The brothers are both third basemen and good friends outside the park. Game number 5, and the series tied 2-2. The Cards lead 2-0 in the 9th when Yankee Tom Tresh comes to bat with 1 on. It's a replay on the home run story as his lofty drive scores 2 runs to tie it up. As the man says, truth is stranger than fiction, especially in the baseball classic. This is a World Series of the long hit ball and superb pitching. There'll be plenty of fuel for the Hot Stove League in this year's meeting. The tie score no sooner goes on the scoreboard than the fireworks erupt again. This time it's Tim McCarver who homers. A 10th inning blast that sends 2 men home ahead of him and puts the Cardinals in front 5-2. Both teams have made this 5th game a cliffhanger all the way. With Bill White and Dick Groat home free, McCarver proves anew the most predictable thing about a World Series game: it's unpredictable. The Yankees make their last stand in the bottom of the 10th inning. With 2 down, a Maris pop fly heading for the stands is snatched by Ken Boyer. And the hero of the Grand Slam homer in the 4th game helps the Cards take another Yankee scalp. Now it's back to St. Louis for the grand finale. It's the moment of truth in St. Louis, the final game of the World Series. Things start popping for the Cards in the 4th. Tim McCarver bounces to a force at second, but the throw to first is wild, and the first Cardinal run is across as Yankee defenses crumble. Ken Boyer goes first blood, Mel Stottlemyre pitching to Dal Maxwell, and the Cards pull a double steal that sends McCarver streaking home. When Maxwell singles home the 3rd run, the Cards go ahead in this 4th frame. And there they stay until they are crowned world champs in the 9th. The Yankees attempt a comeback in the 6th as Mickey Mantle hits a home run to the opposite field with 2 men on. This gives the Yankees their first 3 runs, but the St. Louis underdogs still lead 6-3. Ken Boyer, Cardinal hero of an earlier game with a bases-loaded homer, comes up with another Cardinal 4-bagger to make it 7-3. The Yanks cause a flurry in the hearts of the hometown fans with 2 homers in the 9th inning. But Bob Gibson bears down on Bobby Richardson. Gibson gets Bobby to pop out, and for the first time since 1946, the St. Louis Cardinals win a World Series, a series that will be replayed time and again through the long, cold winter.
Swung on a ground ball hit in the hole between first and second out to right field for a base hit. A run-producing single to right field.
The annual Autumn Madness is in full swing in Minneapolis as the American League Twins take on the National League Dodgers, with Vice President Humphrey on hand to throw out the first ball. He's warming up to take over for President Johnson. Mudcat Grant feeds a home run pitch to Dodger Ron Fairley in the 2nd inning. And for a moment, the Dodgers are in front. The National Leaguers are favored. But before this game is over, the Minnesota Twins will have them seeing double. Dodger Don Drysdale doesn't have his stuff today. Don Mincher's home run, also in the 2nd, foreshadows things to come in the very next inning. Mincher's homer makes him the 4th man in history to hit a round tripper in his first World Series. Frank Willese opens the third inning assault on Dodger Drysdale with a hit inside the third base line that he stretches into a double. After Frank's hit, the Twins pitcher, Grant, bunts his way on. So with no one out, up to the plate steps Zolio Vasalis. The fire in the shot heard across the northern prairies. A 3-run homer that puts the Twins in front 4-1. From now on in, the Twins could coast home. But this fateful third inning isn't over yet. Dust no sooner settles on the base paths than the Twins put Valdespino, Killebrew, and Mincher on base. This brings up Earl Batty, who strokes it over second base for a single that brings in 2 more runs for the Twins. What they need is a traffic cop on those baselines. That makes it 6-1, and the Twins are hungry for more. Drysdale heads for the showers after this pitch to Willese, a single for his second hit of the inning that scores Mincher. That's really your ball game, that third inning. Minnesota scores 1 more run in the 6th, and the Dodgers chalk up one in the 9th. But then Grant pours it on to Jim Gilliam, who flies out to end the game, Twins 8, Dodgers 2. The next day, Minnesota makes it a twin killing by taking the second game 5-1. When the Dodgers headed back for Los Angeles, they were asking, what happened? Down to the wire in the World Series. The Minnesota Twins are in their home park facing the Los Angeles Dodgers in the 7th and deciding game. Facing 2, Sandy Koufax, pitching with only 2 days rest and no real curve today, but still the greatest. Here's Oliver Salas goes out swinging. Strikeout victim number 2, Earl Batty. Koufax gets the support he needs in the 4th inning. Lou Johnson's drive hits the screen on the left field foul pole for a home run. Johnson happily applauds himself en route home, a familiar gesture for this 32-year-old veteran who at last plays a starring role in baseball's classic. Ron Fairley, next up, doubles into the right field corner. It's hit number 11 of the series for Fairley. Wes Parker swings away just when Minnesota was expecting the sacrifice. Fairley races home with a second Dodger run. The Twins threaten in the 5th. Tying runs are on. 1 out. Versailles the batter. His hard smash inside the third base line is backhanded by Jim Gilliam, who gets the force out. The brilliant save stuns the home crowd. Joe Nosek then grounds into another force out. The score remains 2-0 Dodgers. Bottom of the 9th, 1 out. Harmon Killebrew singles. Koufax had retired 12 straight until this hit, only the 3rd of the game for Minnesota. Koufax has gone to his fastball. Earl Batty strikes out. With 2 down, the batter is Bob Allison. Strikeout number 10. Koufax and the Dodgers take the World Series. The Twins never got a man to third base against the remarkable left-hander. Los Angeles takes home its 2nd World Championship in the last 3 years.
Joe with that classic stance of his, bat cocked up off his right shoulder. On the next pitch, swings and sends a long drive. It stays fair and go all the way. It is going. It is going. It is gone.
One of the most fabulous baseball players of all time becomes the highest paid player in history. Willie Mays signs a 2-year contract that will bring him an estimated $130,000 a year. Willie has larceny in his heart when he reaches first. He can steal second against the best of pitchers. And when a ball is hit to center field, when he's on patrol, watch out. He never drops anything but his cap. At bat, M-A-Y-S spells murder. For example, he opened the 1961 season by becoming one of 9 men to hit 4 homers in 1 game. In this game, the Giants blasted the Braves 14-4, but it was Willie's fence-busting act that made the headlines. The Smiling Willie has been called one of the greatest natural hitters to come down the pike in decades. Now he has hit the biggest home run in baseball's financial records. No one deserves it more.
At Candlestick Park, San Francisco, the Giants go against the St. Louis Cardinals. Big number 24, Willie Mays, is looking for his 534th home run. Willie connects in the third inning, sending the ball far over the right field fence. With 534 home runs, he ties Jimmy Fox for second place on the career home run list. It's his 29th round tripper this season. The next day, 32,000 fans come to the park to see if wonderful Willie can do it again and break Fox's record. 35-year-old Mays hit 52 homers last year and earned the Most Valuable Player award. And Willie ties into a 3-2 pitch off Ray Washburn in the fourth. Drives it over the right field fence as youngsters scramble for the ball. His 535th career home run tops Jimmy Fox and gives Mays sole possession of second place in total home runs hit. He also becomes the greatest right-handed home run hitter in baseball history. Only Babe Ruth, a lefty with a career total of 714, has blasted more four-baggers than Willie. The crowd gives him a standing ovation. Willie acknowledges the cheers of the fans. The lucky youngster who retrieved the ball exchanges it for an autographed one. This season, Mays has also broken home run records set by Mel Ott and Ted Williams. Say hey indeed. Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, setting for the opening game of the 63rd World Series. The Baltimore Orioles are the underdogs as they face the National League champs. The big action explodes early. Baltimore's Frank Robinson in the first inning sends a 350-foot homer into the left field stands. Don Drysdale had walked Russ Snyder just before Robinson, so the homer brings 2 runs across, and Baltimore jumps into an early 2-0 lead. For Robinson, it's his second World Series four-bagger. He hit one against the Yankees in 1961. Brooks Robinson is the very next batter to face Drysdale, and he puts one into the stands in almost the same spot. It's the 24th home run of the year for Brooks, and it gives the Orioles a 3-run lead over the Dodgers, all in the first inning. Dodgers second baseman Jim Lefebvre lifts Los Angeles fans out of their seats with a second inning homer off Baltimore starter Dave McNally. Lefebvre's round tripper makes it 4-1 Baltimore, since the Orioles had scored once more in the second. McNally delivers to John Roseboro with 2 on. Roseboro is robbed by Russ Snyder's great catch in right center. Parker and Gilliam have to race back to second and first. Mo Drabowski relieves McNally in the third and begins a record-breaking performance of World Series strikeouts by a relief pitcher. He fans 11, 6 in a row to tie another series record. Drabowski wins it for Baltimore 5-2, allowing only 1 single in 6 innings. The Orioles then win the second game, 6-0. Next stop, Baltimore for game number 3. World Series spotlight falls on Baltimore as the Orioles bring a 2-game lead over the Dodgers to their home grounds. Baltimore fans are anxious. In the first inning, Dodger Willie Davis leans into a Wally Bunker delivery, sending it deep to left, but Kurt Blefary makes a sensational running catch. Baltimore center fielder Paul Blair breaks up a scoreless game in the 5th as he hammers a home run off Claude Osteen. The ball travels 430 feet into the left field bleachers. Up to this point, Osteen had a 2-hitter, both singles. Blair rounds the bases and is given a hero's ovation as he scores the lone Baltimore run, which ultimately means victory. 2 out in the ninth. And Lou Johnson struggles to keep Dodger hopes alive. A grounder to Aparicio, who's up with it over the first for the final out. Baltimore wins 1-0 to make it 3 straight over the Dodgers. Blair's homer and Bunker's 6-hit shutout give Baltimore fans plenty to cheer about. Game number 4 with 1 on, 1 out in the 4th. Tommy Davis hits into a double play. Baltimore's defense and great pitching continue to frustrate Los Angeles. Baltimore right fielder Frank Robinson faces Don Drysdale in the 4th. He connects, and it's gone. Robinson's homer is the second of the series, both off Drysdale. The American League slugger led his league in home runs, batting average, and runs batted in this year. Oriole fans go wild. Also in the 4th, Baltimore's Boog Powell follows Robinson's homer with a smash deep toward the center field fence. Willie Davis goes way back and up, making a brilliant catch. Dodgers Jim Lefebvre. A long ball that could mean extra bases, but it's not to be. And Baltimore continues to play tight defensive baseball. Now the fans sense victory. Dave McNally pitches to Al Ferrara in the 9th. With 1 out, a single to center. The tension builds for Oriole manager Hank Bauer. Now with 2 out, 2 on, Lou Johnson hits a high fly to center field. Paul Blair is under it, and he makes the put out. Baltimore wins 1-0, sweeping the series in 4 straight over the Dodgers. McNally's 4-hitter and Frank Robinson's home run bring World Series victory to Baltimore. It's a fitting climax for the high-flying Orioles.
Boston's Fenway Park is the setting for the 2-day finale of the tightest American League race in history. Vice President Humphrey of Minnesota and Senator Edward Kennedy of Massachusetts are set to cheer the Twins and Red Sox respectively. Boston must win 2 from Minnesota. In the 7th inning, Carl Yastrzemski blasts a 3-run homer to give the Red Sox victory 6-4. Yaz ultimately winds up with the Triple Crown in batting. This home run was number 44. 1 more than any other left-hander in Boston history, eclipsing Ted Williams' record. With the Red Sox, Twins, and Tigers in a virtual tie for the pennant, 1 more Boston victory coupled with 1 Detroit loss would bring the bunting to Beantown and its fans. Final day, 2-all in the 6th. Boston's Harrelson hits a high bounder to Vasilis, who fires it home too late to get Dalton Jones, who scores the tiebreaker. A wild pitch by Worthington scores another Red Sox run, making it 4-2, and the Boston fans get pennant fever. Reggie Smith cracks a hard grounder to first. It bounces off Killebrew, and Boston has a 5-run inning. With a 2-run lead in the 9th, a short pop to Petrocelli ends it, and Boston wins the American League pennant for the first time in 21 years in a rags-to-riches comeback. Fans mob winning pitcher Jim Longberg, whose 22nd win, his first ever against Minnesota, is the most important of all. Thus, the Red Sox, who finished 9th last year, are this year's Cinderella Sox and face the Cardinals in the World Series. Series opener, Red Sox against the Cardinals, and in the 3rd inning, Redbird Lou Brock gets his second of 4 hits to equal a series record. At this point, it was a scoreless tie. Santiago delivers to Curt Flood, who smashes a double, advancing the fleet-footed Brock to 3rd base, and the Cardinals have been in scoring position for the 3rd consecutive inning. Former Yankee Roger Maris bounces out to first baseman George Scott, but Brock scores. St. Louis 1, Boston 0. Pitcher Santiago ties up the ball game with a third-inning home run into the screen atop the left field fence, making it 1-all. But Cardinal ace Bob Gibson shackles the Red Sox batters, allowing only 6 hits and striking out 10 Boston sluggers, 9 of them in the first 5 innings. This is the only run which prevents Gibson from pitching a World Series shutout. Fourth inning. Brock smashes a ground single past short. Yastrzemski races in and fires home to nail Julian Javier, trying to score from second. It's one of the fielding gems of the day. Brock singles to open the 7th, then steals second for the second time in the game. Flood bosses out to Scott, advancing Brock to third. Brock scores on Maris's infield out as the Cardinals win 2-1. But in the second game, Lonborg's one-hitter and Yastrzemski's 2 homers give Boston a 5-0 win.